Good evening and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, January 14th, 2019. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Yo.
And Ryan, aka Elizabeth Whitestone. What's the aka?
I forgot. It was
Cynthia, wasn't it?
Cynthia Whitestone? Yes.
I've been MIA. Well, okay, so I finally got back from my long vacation from the dentist, meaning I got work done.
Oh, okay.
My vagina is all the way up to my navel now. That's how tucked I am.
Did you have the teeth removed from your vagina?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You gotta keep it interesting.
I'm changing your name officially just because of the off-air conversation. Your name is now going to be Jabetes.
Diabetes.
Jacqueline Diabetes. Jabetes. You have mentioned to me about your diabetes 1,800 times.
You know what? It's a big part of my life.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You sound like my mother.
Okay, you'll see. If your mom has it, you have a really good chance of getting it.
Well, mom and dad actually both have it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you have the double whammy, buddy. You're getting the diabetes.
Jabetes.
The diabetes. Okay. So I want to have a little rant. And I'm sure Arthur will agree with me and maybe Ryan, but he doesn't go on Facebook that much. These Facebook challenges are so stupid. And this newest one, how much have you aged? Look.
Oh, from the 10 years, right? The decade.
Yeah. Okay, people, stop posting your busted ass pictures and thinking you look good, because you don't. And I'm not saying I'm any different. That's why I didn't post mine, because I know I don't look as good as I looked 10 years ago. Okay? And then if you're gonna do it, please don't Photoshop your photo, because that's a cop out, you dumb bitch. You're not Elizabeth Taylor with the Vaseline over the screen, okay?
Or, sorry, go ahead, Arthur.
No, I was going to say, but that's the problem. 10 years ago, not every fucking basic hooer was using fucking filters. Like, I've seen a few where it's like, okay, yeah, I remember you looking like that, and bitch, you don't look like this. Like, who are you lying to?
Well, but it's also like oh God, I'm getting really technological and technical here, but you think about the quality of the cameras back then to the quality of the cameras now. Like,
I looked to see what my first picture was, and I mean, it's a fine enough picture. I don't hate the picture or anything, but I was like using like a webcam or something, and it was like all like blurry. And
that's the best because it hides everything.
From like 1985 or something.
The glamour shots. Remember, Jacqueline, your glamour?
Yes, glamour magic, because you couldn't get glamour shots. Come on. My work where I used to work would host once a year would host Glamour Magic, and they encourage
you know what annoys me about this is it feels like we're constantly trying to prove how much improvement we've had in the last decade. You know what? I've lost my hair. I have yo-yoed on my weight. Call me Janet Jackson. I don't feel the need to post a picture of maybe I'm not active in social media. Like, I barely have a Facebook. And it's for whatever purpose, for stalking purposes, really, my Facebook.
Well, I used to not post a lot of pictures because I was like, oh, I'm so fat, I don't want to show a picture. And then I kind of got to the point, well, everybody who knows me in real life knows I'm fat, so who am I fooling? So I stopped caring. So now I post. I don't care. But I mean, I'm not kidding myself. I know
I'm a catfish motherfucker.
10 years ago.
I perfect my fatness. You're only going to get pictures of the neck up.
Well, I take my pictures like that, but whenever somebody in my family, I'm like, make sure you take it from the boobs up, and they always do like a full gunshot. It's like, can you not? Like, do you know how to take a picture?
But the disrespect about that too, there are angles. The angles always have to be high, so it like hides the double chin for me.
Don't crouch down and take a picture from below. How fucking dare you? Okay.
And then always a little bit like tilted to the side, so that you only get one side of the face.
Crouch down to take a picture of me.
I do the Mariah.
I can't stand seeing old pictures of me. I had a full head of hair, and it's fucking depressing.
It is. Yeah,
it's fucking depressing.
Like, to be honest with you, I don't really care about the fact that I lost my head of hair anymore. I really don't. But there's a part of you, like, sometimes I still do the gesture where I like flip my hair over. Yeah. I don't have any more hair. So that's always going to be there.
To think about like the variety, like, okay, you know what, today I could wear my hair slicked back, today I could wear some bangs. Now you just kind of stuck with one variety unless you wear a hat, right?
And this is the perfect time to have hair the way I had hair, because I feel like fashion has become so androgynous now.
Yeah,
and
long silky hair.
When I had long, beautiful hair, I'm complimenting myself here. Like, I had beautiful long hair. I would stick thin. So I really could have fit into this genre that the kids are going into, but no, I'm just a fat bald man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're all, none of us are, our prime 18 years or 19 years anymore, right? We've all aged, so.
Yeah,
fucking bullshit.
Wrinkles, and I saw one. I won't name them, but I have a Facebook friend who has their friend they're quite close to is related to Arthur, and that person did a 10 years, and in their newest picture they included that relative, and I'm just like, oh my god, that person really got busted.
Oh, so you just outed yourself.
Like, no, you can just say it was me. It's okay.
It's not you. It's not you at all. But yeah, that person definitely thinks they're super sexy, and they're like trying to do like blue steel into the camera, and I'm just like,
Do you kind of feel like, though, I've been asked this recently, so I'm going to go into the holidays because I've been on from the show for a little while getting some dental work done, right? I was asked by the person who I was dating, but I didn't know I was dating them because I wasn't dating them. I thought we were just getting food all the time. Who shares my name, right? Like, they shared my name. I'm outing you, you asswipe. Who broke it off with me on January 2nd, thinking I didn't even know we were dating, but we're not going to get into that. He asked me, he was like, do you think that you get annoyed? Because I saw the pictures being posted. Do you think that you're annoyed by this because you don't have a lot of confidence? He said, no, it's not that. I don't really care about the way I look that much. But it just annoys me that people feel the need to constantly have a reason to post a picture of themselves. We're so narcissistic.
Yeah. Well, we're all looking for what's the word?
Validation.
Validation. That's the word I was trying to think of. Yeah, and everybody, I mean, you're having a pretty day. You want other people to say we're having a pretty day, and
I don't need you to tell me that. Like, I'm not going to go into my whole spiel and preach on the show about that. But if you have to be validated through another person, right? And you're talking to a person who has no confidence whatsoever. But if you have to be validated by another person, you really need psychological help.
But that's everybody nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the whole FOMO thing, the fear of missing out. That's everybody, right? Like, how many people are living their lives right now because they see, or they're judging themselves off other people's social media lives?
Yeah.
But that's too much. I don't, like, again, I don't have an Instagram. I'm turning a certain age this year that's close to 30. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Snapchat. I barely have a Facebook. I don't have a Twitter. It's not that I believe that the government is watching me. I can care less. They can watch me jack off every morning. But I don't feel like it's necessary to share. Maybe it's my privacy. I just don't feel like it's necessary to share everything on the interwebs. Well,
and that's the thing. People share everything. Some people. And it's just like, I don't really care that you're, like, it's like mundane stuff. Like, oh, I got a Tim Hortons coffee this morning. Well, like, so did like half the country. Like, or like, I'm sure it was great, but I don't need to see every morning you got a Tim Hortons coffee.
You sure it was great? Have you had fucking Tim Hortons coffee?
No, I don't drink coffee at all.
You're fucking lying to yourself if you thought that was great.
I'm
bragging about it. You must have thought it was great.
Like, I just don't feel like it's necessary to talk about stuff. And I hope you don't mind. I'm going to segue into this article that I sent here. This is probably the reason why we're having low births, because people are so into themselves. Because I feel like people are just so focused on, oh my God, is my vagina pretty enough to be ate tonight? Is it, pretty enough to be pounded by somebody? Like, Jesus Christ! Like, let
this is why
inhibitions go.
This is the thing, and this is why plastic surgery, not just in America or Canada, but all over the world, is like crazy.
South Korea being the capital.
Women are getting their labia reduced because their labias aren't, their vulvas aren't pretty enough. Butt implants, boob implants, lip implants, cheek implants. We're completely changing. Double eyelid surgery. Like, it's crazy how, like, I'll always forgive you if you really hate your boobs. Okay, I'm gonna get done. I really hate my nose. That's fine. But to completely change everything about you is really sad. And to be really that concerned about how your vagina looks or your vulva looks makes me very sad that somebody would feel the need to have to get surgery to change that.
Well, the fact that some people feel the need to just not be themselves. I'm guilty of that, but we're not going to get into it on the air.
We all do our best out in public or whatever, but. It's
like, I just recently
I always wanted lip implants because I have very thin lips. So I'll, I would never, thank you, but I would never go to the point of like, you know, what's that? Angelina, is that her name? That crazy blonde lady? Not Angelina Jolie, but that reality TV from I think Rock of Love. And
she yes. She has like really thick lips.
They're like 5-pound lips. I would never go to that extreme, but I get why people would do things. You know, I mean, if I had, you know,
I've only started to really kind of be relaxed. Like Jacqueline, from the decade that you've known me, I would put on a regalia of clothes just to go to the grocery store, which is a 5-minute walk from my house. Yeah. And as time has passed on, and it's not losing my hair, it's not the weight gain that I've had, I've really kind of found it to be freeing and even liberating to some degree to just not care about what I'm wearing anymore. Yeah. You know, like I'm just like, I don't care. Like, because I used to be like, I did the cool thing before cool was cool, if that made any sense. You know what I mean? Like these kids nowadays trying to be all hipstery and cute and blah, blah, blah. Like I was wearing skin tight skinny jeans.
Eating his avocado toast, guys.
Yeah. I love that. Avocado toast, that's your mayo.
But you don't want to be too free. Please don't be the person wearing your pajama pants at Walmart. Like, don't do
that. That's me. Okay.
No, don't do that, Ryan. Don't do that.
You are not going to judge me.
I'm as comfortable as they come. I wear my pajamas 24/7, but if I'm going out, I put some jogging pants over my pajamas. Come on, I have some class. Not much, but some.
I have very little class nowadays. My pajama shirt, like it's a regular t-shirt, I think it's from Ryder or whatever, it has turned backless because it is broken, so the back of it is completely ripped. I love it. So you could just see my full, it's bare back, you could see my full everything in the back. Yes. So very proud of this homeless thing. I'm taking fashion to another level. It's not even hobo, it was just homeless.
Let's get to the actual details of this article now. So Ryan shared an article is talking about how Americans aren't making enough babies to replace, you know, the people. When you have a negative birth rate, people don't understand. Like that really does affect not just, oh, it's great, you know, it's better for the environment. There's less people on the planet. Yes, that's true. But then you don't have enough people to replace your tax population. Yes. And then you don't have enough people getting, you know, paying taxes and helping the government and having all these institutions. So,
but it's
we have it here in Canada too. We have a negative birth rate in Canada as well.
Happening, I think, heavily in the United States. Not just because, you know, the article talks about how, you know, women are just focusing more on education and blah 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 blah. I think that's one part of it. The other part of that, I believe, is it's just so expensive to have a child, right? Like I think
that pressure that, like, you know, like you think about like the golden age, the 50s, right? That was the thing. You got married, you had kids, but that pressure to have children's not there anymore. So people like Arthur and his wife, they don't feel the need to have any children if they don't want to. They want to travel, they want to have fun, they don't want that responsibility. If they want to stay up all night till 3 in the morning, they can do it.
I can't afford a house, a car on one $10,000 a year fucking salary and support 5 fucking kids at the same time. It's too goddamn much. Inflation has ruined it. I'm one of these millennials. Seriously, no.
I like that.
I am one of these fucking millennials that refuses to have kids because the greatest generation fucked it all for us.
Fucked it all up,
Like and they seriously did. You know, and now I do see the fact that, you know, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle trying to fill these fucking jobs. We are.
And you have all these people saying we don't want to bring immigrants in, but if you don't bring in immigrants, you're not going to, you know, the baby boomers go. You have such a negative amount of people replacing jobs, people, the tax burden and all this stuff. It's going to be
also put into perspective that the baby boomers really aren't as healthy as we've made them up to be, right? Like a lot of them are so sickly. I was reading an article on this quite a few months ago. It was so interesting. I was reading on it and how their health is one of the poorest, the baby boomers, because they just did everything in excess. This was during
my stepfather. Jesus Christ, this guy. I mean, love him, but this guy has had one foot in the grave since the day we met him, and you know, he's a fighter. I'll give him that. He fights, and he survived a lot of things that would have killed a weaker person. But I mean, what a drain on our taxes, and even myself and my husband now with the medical issues that we're having, we're a drain on the system now too. You know, and I'm not even a boomer.
That's the point. I don't know. The whole thing is like, it's not going to stop.
No,
it's
not going to stop. I mean, again, you're talking to a generation of people that not only seen the fucking divorce rates skyrocket most of our fucking lives, you know what I mean? We also have seen so many people struggle to fucking just be able to afford with one fucking kid. I know people right now that are making well over 6 figures with one kid that still can't afford to fucking live on their own and shit.
My husband has a good freaking job. Let me tell you, my husband has a good job where he made a lot of money last year.
Yeah.
And it's not enough to buy a house in Toronto.
Exactly.
So I'll open up. I've been very open about this, and I'll even give the figures. My ex-husband and I, when we were together, made taxes in the United States is a little bit different, right? Like we get refunds and such. When we were still married, we made together about 160, 170.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good for young people your age.
For young people, exactly. And I can easily tell you right now, we were paycheck to paycheck on 160, 170 a year.
Yeah.
By the way.
Well, you're living in one of the most expensive cities in America.
Cities in the world. Yeah. Where a gallon of milk is literally $5. Like I remember growing up, and you could make a spaghetti dinner. Jacqueline, you and I were talking about this for maybe about $10.
Not even 5. When I was when Scott and I first moved out, you could buy a package of ground beef for like $2.50. Not even $1 for a tin of sauce, and whatever the bag or the bag of spaghetti cost $1. So you could make it for $5, and it would last 2 or 3 nights.
The last time I did a spaghetti dinner when I was still married for 2. To be fair, for 2, I come from a big family as well, so let me be a little bit fair about that. I still don't know how to cook for 2.
Yeah.
I spent well over 35.
Yeah.
It was shocking because I walked into the store thinking, oh, it's a quick $20. I can use the cash in my pocket right now. I was dead wrong. It was $35, and that didn't include cheese. I know that sounds so crazy, but it didn't.
But you want to put some Parmesan or some mozzarella on there. I get it.
It skyrocketed, and 2 out of 3 people on the podcast right now, me and Arthur, both have made conscious decisions. I don't want kids. Not because I'm gay and I physically cannot have children as much as people want to try. I can't have kids, but for other reasons. But besides those other reasons, I just don't feel like it's necessary to have kids because they are so goddamn expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the silver lining is poor people will always have enough kids for us.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? It's a terrible thing to say, but it's the fucking truth,
Yeah.
And with more people striving to be middle class, I mean, to me, that's going to be kind of the death of it, right? But poor people will always they'll always
and you always end with extending fertility rates too. So a woman who might have had her kids at 16, 17, 18, she can now have a baby at like 45 and stay on the checks,
Yeah. Well, I got my W-2. Do you guys get like W-2s in Canada?
We have a different name for it, but we get
So I just got my W-2s for the year prior that just passed. I will tell you, I was extremely shocked at how much it is. This is so embarrassing. I looked at that number and I literally said, oh my God, is this correct? Because I kept looking at my bank account and my savings account, and I kept saying, this doesn't match. Where did it all go? Granted,
it all went to DoorDash.
Well, yes, but parts of it too, like I just kept saying, like I'll be honest, since July of 2018, I had to take my own health insurance. I've actually been waiting to talk about this on the air. I paid from July to December almost $4,000 just for that.
Wow.
In insurance, right? So that's 5 months worth of insurance right there, and it just went up $5 more this year each and every month that I'm paying for it. So imagine my salary.
Like insurance in a year, basically.
But my salary alone, what I made, would be enough for me to buy a house. 10 years ago, right before the recession, it would have been enough to buy me a house, and it would have been okay, struggling but okay, right?
Yeah.
I cannot, with the salary that I pulled in, which is really well, even afford to consider buying a 1-bedroom box.
Well, and that's it, unless you want to move out to the fucking boonies.
Boonies.
Yeah.
What are you
Which
do?
You won't make as much either.
Right. Exactly.
And then you got to commute if you're working in the city. Then Ryan's got to commute for like
even
2 hours.
I highly doubt that even in New York State, close enough for a commute, he'd be able to afford it. I'm talking like him fucking off to Montana. But what's he gonna do in Montana, right? It is inflation. It's just all fucked us. Everything is fucked because of money. And it's funny because we're all going to pay for it.
But I think a lot of this, and look, I'm not a real estate person. I don't understand a lot about real estate, but from reading and kind of seeing what I've kind of read and gleaned, I think a lot of the problems with the crazy housing markets is some of these real estate agents maybe purposely, I hate to say purposely when I don't know for certain, lied about offers and made bidding wars where they didn't necessarily have bidding wars. And I think that's why kind of Toronto went crazy from the even from the 2000s to now. It went crazy.
I saw a house, dilapidated house around this really, I don't want to say it's a bad neighborhood. It's one of the most not so safe neighborhoods in Queens, one of the 5 boroughs. So this house dilapidated. It was going on sale, and I checked it because a client of mine was buying it, right? The asking price was $1.2 million. This is not a move-in house. This is not move-in ready by any means. We're talking maybe another $200,000 worth of repairs from the conversation I had with my client. $1.2 million for a piece of crap. I mean, if you took that to the boonies, I'm going to steal Arthur's line there, to the boonies, we're talking maybe $50,000.
Yeah,
I get it. New York is an expensive city. I'm so tired of hearing this BS that people always say about that. No offense, Jacqueline. But this is just unfair trading. We're not regulating the way we price the market as well. There's this show on, I want to say it's TBS or TNT. It's called Adam Ruins Everything. And he really talks about how it's also factual too. Everybody tells you that the best investment is a house. Not really. For me, for my generation, not really. I don't want a house. I don't want to have to shovel. I don't want to have to, take care of the boiler. I don't care about that aspect. Not everybody wants a place.
I'm kind of like that too. I don't really want to own a house, to be honest.
Why?
I'd much rather be a homeowner than a renter. Solely for the fact of, at least here, I don't have to deal with the whole HOA or condo board fucking nonsense. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And if it means I got to shovel and mow a lawn, then hoopty fucking ding dong. You know what I mean? Seriously. No, in all honesty, that's just my opinion.
I'm kidding.
I would much rather that throw in a little bit more work than have to fucking, not even that, growing up and living in apartments, I fucking hated smelling everything that everyone was cooking. It drove me fucking nuts.
I like the noise. I'm such a New Yorker in that way. I appreciate the noise where, that's one different thing from anybody who I ever seen to date. They enjoy the idea of quiet. For me, I can't enjoy quiet because my anxiety, I feel oh my God, the North Korean bomb is coming. I don't know if you guys heard on the news a couple of weeks ago, there was this huge light thing that happened in New York City, right? Lit up the sky. I really thought we were getting attacked by the North Koreans. Honest to God, all jokes aside, it was so lit outside. But I enjoy that. That's I'm an apartment dweller. I'm not I'm not a homeowner kind of a person. I want an apartment. I want a beautiful apartment, all open space, 2 bedrooms. One's going to be turned into a closet. Beautiful big kitchen, beautiful big living room with a balcony so I could smoke and wear my.
I don't talk about $10 million.
Right.
You know what I mean, but that's what I want. I also just don't find it necessary to own a home. I don't want kids, so I don't know who I'm going to pass it on to if I ever have kids, or if I don't, if I pass away. So it's just one other aspect that I think about of my life.
Leave it to me.
Oh, you're expecting to live longer than me, you bitch.
I am. You're not going to take care of your diabetes, then.
I don't have diabetes.
You will. It's funny, when I was in high school, I remember I used to say, first I said I was never going to have kids. And then, I said, well, you know what? Because, I knew then about negative population and population declines. I was like, I'll have 2 replacement children. I'll have a boy and a girl because I could plan that, right? And I was going to have a boy and a girl to replace my husband and myself. And that would be how it went. And I kind of had that. I didn't plan for it, but there you go. I had my 2 replacement children, and can I replace them?
Why do you not? I hope this is not too personal, Arthur. Why do you not want kids? Besides cost.
Well, cost and fuck them. Like literally,
Okay.
like I just.
Yeah.
The more and more I spend time with other people's kids, the more I realize that I just fucking hate them.
Hate them, yeah.
You know, no, and that's serious. You know, like
I agree with
there comes a time when I do start enjoying spending time with people's kids when they can speak sentences and they're amazed at the wonder of the universe. But fuck infants, like they don't do nothing for me.
See, I like
selfish.
Infants. It's when they become like 2, 3, 4. I hate them, and when they think, you know, I'm kind of a petty bitch. So I work at a grocery store. Everybody knows this. We have double lanes. So I scan the items and your grocery goes on one side, you know, one lane, and you have to bag it yourself. Well, I'm always on lane 1, and one side of the, you know, the 2 belts is broken, and I will purposely put the broken belt for the people with kids so the kids can't press the button.
My God.
Especially because they sit there like, hi. No, you're not that cute. Move along, kid.
Jacqueline, I'm surprised. Because
why?
I would expect that behavior
from you. I don't really like that much either, to be honest. I like my kids. I like my nieces and nephews for short periods of time.
Yep.
That's about it. Like, honestly, I don't like a lot of stranger bitch kids.
Not me neither.
I love kids. Kids are beautiful. They're cute. However, I have found my patience to drop significantly. I was at a restaurant by myself recently, and I wanted to recreate the scene from Sex and the City. So I had my little iPad with me, and I was typing. I was being all cute. And this family comes in with their children. And kids were noisy, right? So I said to the guy, the server, the waiter, I was like, would you mind switching me over? Too much noise. And he was like, too much noise. I'm sorry. Is it the music? We can turn it down. I said, no, that. The kids. And he was like, oh, of course. So he moves me back, right? And I really felt terrible, like a terrible individual, when I realized, why, you know, like, this is what you hear from the news. Like, this is what people do on the planes, and they're being dicks. Sue me, I don't care. Like, I never thought I would get to that point where I really, like, I don't want to be around kids. Like, even my own niece, like, 5 minutes, that's it, go away. Yeah. I don't want to see you. You know? I love her, but I don't want to see you. Yeah. Why? Yeah. I don't care about your drawing. You can't even draw. Like, I'm sorry. You know?
I can draw better than you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, somebody had bought her for Christmas this makeup set. She was doing people's makeups, and I'm like, you made them look like clowns, and she was crying because I teased her. I'm like, but they look terrible. And my aunt was like, well, why can't you just say she did a good job? She didn't do a good job. She did terrible. Mm-hmm. You know, granted, yes, I'm older than her, whatever, that's fine. She has to learn one way or another. Like, it's terrible.
There is something to be said, though, about the modern world too, and lots of people, I'd say more moderate people, not wanting to have kids, you know, because at least the people I see online that are very, you know, encouraging about having children are either those far right fucking gun-toting Trump lovers who, you know what I mean, just want to breed that next generation of those assholes, or you have those crazy fucking progressives that, you know what I mean, don't want to gender their kid till it's like fucking 28 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people in the middle. I mean, now I made my decision not to have kids long before any of this shit was really prevalent. But you have a lot of people right now that are kind of looking at this stuff going, well, I don't want to fucking send my kid to school and want them to just have like the same kind of default normal fucking upbringing I had when this is the kind of world that I'm sending them into.
Yeah. And it's weird because I don't quite ever call something just normal. Like, even like when it comes to heterosexual relationships, relationships, I never do. I like that you said that though, because I'm starting to think the way I grew up was normal. So why can't, like, I don't think it's necessary.
I don't even mean it in that sense. Like, when I say the default, I don't even mean it in that sense. I just mean that, like, I mean, we all grew up just kids were fucking kids.
That's what
you know what I mean? Like, kids were just fucking kids, and the societal pressures that parents are putting on their kids, regardless of the side of the fence you're on, to me is just just ridiculous, and I would want to deal with it.
Trying to make their kid an Instagram star or a YouTube star or get on Ellen and go viral. It's a lot of pressure to make these kids perform, and I see it. Like, I hate hate, and I remember I spoke about this before and you said I was being mean, but the video of the little girl at her Christmas pageant, and she's just like going crazy and taking over. And I hated it because I can't stand fake precocious kids like that. And everybody's like, oh, she's a star. And I'm like, no, I fucking hate that kid.
No.
Well, but this has been very prevalent in the Philippines, right? In the Filipino entertainment industry, it's been a thing where they're always trying to find the next kid star. I'm not talking the way we have it in the United States, because you'll have the rarity, like you'll find name me a kid star. Punky, Macaulay Culkin, Punky Brewster. What's her name? Soleil Moon Frye. Right? Yeah. Like she was a kid star. The doctor. He came out as gay. NPH. Neil Patrick Harris. Like those kinds of that's rarity in the United States. In the Philippines, the next kid star, you're like it. So it's so heavy there for us or for them to find the next one. And so for me, a lot of the times when I see parents kind of, constantly taking pictures of their kids and kind of showing off their naked mole rat looking, newborn baby, in my head, I always think you're surrendering your child to the public eye, because we were raised rather private. Like my parents, like it was school and home right away. Like we weren't really allowed to hang out with our friends. We were a very, very private family. Our stuff wasn't really, made aware, or whatever was going on with us, it stayed within. So what I don't understand now, with the people that do have kids or are still constantly having kids, you keep on opening yourself up to the criticisms that everybody throws your way. So like they say, oh, but you're just a welfare mom.
Yeah.
Well, why do you have 7 kids? Right? Like that's my question too. Yeah. I hope I'm not coming off to be a hypocrite or being rude, but why do you have 7 kids and 4 different baby fathers? So that kind of also tells you where you are in life, right? Or the parents, because then I fast forward to the 2 working parents who are working very hard to just make ends meet and have 1 kid.
Yeah.
So it's there's this balance within me that I just try to, I find the solution is don't have any fucking kids. Because I refuse to be the single parent who's struggling for the rest of his life. And I also refuse to be the welfare parent who just has 7 kids and expects the tax refund time to come along every year and live off of that. And that is the truth. For as weird as that sounds, for as super conservative as I sound in regards to that, that's what's happening, because I know people very well who do that every year, who live off of that every year. They started very young and all of a sudden they're now grandmas in their 30s.
I went to school with at least 3 different girls that were fucking programmed from childhood to have children as soon as they could and as many as they can, so the welfare checks don't fucking stop. Right? And like that left a bad taste in my mouth. I can't say that that's a reason why I personally wouldn't have a child. You know what I mean? Like I'm definitely of the mindset of, accidents happen, mistakes happen. Hopefully as an adult, you're fucking smart enough to not allow that shit to fucking happen. But it just is what it is. But if I don't have what it is right now, like currently sitting in a fucking bank account right now to take care of my kid for about a year, then I have no business bringing a child into this
world.
Right?
Especially also kind of in this weird state that we're in politically.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's I feel like before it gets any better, it's just going to get worse.
Well, and that's again, it is an issue that you kind of have to think about. Like I hate being one of those, man, back in the day it was so much better. It wasn't. It really fucking wasn't. You know what I mean? Like we were all pretty much pieces of fucking shit. We still currently are pieces of shit, but it's getting slowly better. But I mean, like, come on, this, like, I mean, I would not want a fucking child, like my child growing up in this world. For one, because I don't understand half of it my fucking self. So what am I supposed to do as a parent to be like, well, no, this is where this person's coming from.
It is. It's scary. Right? Like, the kids come and they want to talk about stuff, and you're like, what the hell? Like,
that makes no sense to me. Like, that wasn't my truth.
Asking? Yeah.
Right? Like, that wasn't my truth. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say whether it's true or not, or fucking right or not wrong. Like, that's not for me to decide. But, I mean, that definitely weighs on me a lot. Yeah. And I see my friends with kids that struggle with this shit on the daily, where they're just like, well, my daughter asked me about this, and what do I say? I don't know anything about this. well, fuck, man. Like, you brought the kid in the world. Like, you got to figure it out.
You gotta figure it out. You gotta be honest. My number one thing is always be honest. Never lie to kids, because kids know when you're lying.
My favorite conversation I had last year with a person who has multiple kids. I'm not going to mention how many because I think it'll be too obvious, and I know they're listening. And I'm not judging you if you do know who you are. Was that her child asked, "Mommy, why are we struggling?" Mm-hmm. And so she told me the story, and she had tears in her eyes. And I felt like such a bad person for saying my response. I said, ultimately everything you did is and was a choice. You decided to have that many kids at such a young age.
Now you can't go to school. You can't go and work full time because now you can't afford daycare.
But then you use that as a crutch. See, this is my issue with a lot of them, especially the greatest generation, right? The greatest generation of all fucking time. I did everything in my world to make sure that you're safe. No, you didn't, you motherfucker. You're the cause of all the shit that's going on right fucking now. Because in order for you to realize what the problem is, you got to know where the roots are. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can't use that as a crutch. You can't use, but I had so many. But it is a choice because we are in a country, fortunately enough, where you have a choice to either keep it or not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with those rights for women. That is a choice that you make. I'm not going to,
but it's getting harder and harder. Like, get into that story, right? It's getting harder and harder to get an abortion in some states. Or you're getting states where they're allowing employers to say, even though you pay your own insurance, you can't have access to birth control pills.
Well, that was just blocked. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
That was just blocked. Thank God. But it's still, the choice is still there. I'm not saying girls go have 15 abortions every day.
When I was young and I didn't want to have a kid, I didn't. I made sure that there was no,
because there is an option.
I used birth control and I was safe because I did not want to have a baby.
And then it's true though about the whole greatest generation thing. My grandfather, my father's dad, me and him got into it one time. And he was talking shit about my own personal life decisions. And he was saying, when I was your age, I had 2 jobs and I had all these many kids and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, who fucking told you to do that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
But those 2 jobs didn't afford him any real wealth.
Like, your life is not my life. You guys were awarded way more shit than I was. Yeah. I could not walk to a factory and be like, can I have 30 years of work, please?
Yeah.
Yes. Work like that anymore. It doesn't work.
Guaranteed. And I hate it when they say I did it. I did it. No, we can't, because those jobs that you're talking about are now requiring master's degrees.
$15,000.
There it is, right? And I get really upset when I hear that kind of stuff because you can't compare, and I'm starting to realize that more and more and more. Like, I'm kind of getting tired of people fucking comparing their shit to someone else's shit.
The greatest generation is what fucked our manufacturing by demanding so much money.
There it is, right?
And manufacturing moved off to countries where you spend $3 a day, right?
But I'm sure that Arthur has read that beautiful article that was written about the millennial generation is burning out. Like, we are so overworked. You know what I mean? We're so overworked. We're overworked. I don't understand how someone can't have anxiety in this day and age who is around our age range. Like, I worry every day about I'm not going to say how much I made by myself this year, but that alone, when I saw those figures, and tears started to fall from my eyes because I'm looking at my accounts. Granted, yes, I spent money on the food. That's fine. That's my choice. Like, I'm not discounting that.
That's your baby.
Yeah. Well, I'm not discounting that aspect, right? But I paid also within 5 months. Again, I'm repeating this: 5 months, $4,000 worth of health insurance.
Yeah.
Which just went up for me for this full year that's coming up, right? So it's just about to go up again. $4,000 already off my checks from however much I made that year. Plus, we're going up again in fares in New York City for the subways. It's going up another 25 cents. The cost of living is just about to go up. What do you say to my generation when you keep on saying, well, when I was 28 years old and I walked into that store and now I own it. We can't do that anymore.
Nope.
Because now before the bank even loans you money to buy the business that you so claim you bought so easily 35 years ago, we now have to have a master's degree. In order for us to have the fucking house, we have to put up 20%. And you know what 20% of $1 million
You're lucky. Is? Not in Canada. It's more than that.
Yeah.
Well, 20% of the total, price, which is, if let's say $1 million, which is the norm now, that's 200. Who the hell has $200,000 put away right now?
Especially when you just got out of college and or university, you're $80,000 in debt, working as an intern because you need 32 years experience to get a fucking job.
And all these companies have unpaid internships, right? Because they don't want to pay you.
It's
$80,000 is really really downplaying it, Arthur. We're
it's reasonable.
100. Yeah,
like it's reasonable, right?
Well, it's $20,000 a year is like for some shitty course,
Yeah, no, it's fucked up, and it's funny. And then you have these people wondering why so many young people are in revolt.
Yeah,
well, this is exactly why we're in revolt. Yeah. Like I'm not going to say that I take part in the outrage culture. But, I mean, I'm not fucking happy with the lot that was handed off to us. I'm not happy about it at all. And I'm tired as fuck.
Okay, we're back. We had a technical difficulty called Jacqueline's computer froze. So
damn porn viruses.
I know, geez.
I really was listening to Arthur's point because I think he was about to make like the whole outrage culture thing. I really wanted to hear that side.
And honestly, I'm baked as fuck right now, and I don't even remember what the fuck I was talking about.
Well, so let me piggyback off of what you were saying. I'm not angry at anyone. I'm not angry I'm not even really completely angry at the government for these sole purposes because it's not really their fault, right? I'm angry at the fact that we don't regulate the way things are set up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel so bad for saying this because some people know where I work, but I don't really care. We recently had a company dinner with my boss. And he was talking about, back then people could take jokes and blah, 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 and we could do this and we could do that and we did this and blah, 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 blah. And my father made a lot of money and blah, blah, blah. In my head, I'm thinking, do you know how many unregulated things your father and you did that caused us to have to be regulated now?
Yeah.
It is your generation. It is your timing that caused us to do this. But then you're mad at the so-called libertards for saying to you, well, you were the cause of it because you are. The studies show that it was you. Facts are facts, right? Like, you can't erase a fact. You can't erase statistics. You can't erase ratios. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, it's true. Like, it's absolutely true. You can't ignore the fact that it was the greatest generation that have put us in this position.
Yeah.
You can't.
And all the bad positions. Like, let's face it, environmentally, economically, socially. I mean, all the games that they've done, they've also, they're now the generation that's crazy conservative. That's,
And since when has the status quo ever been all we wanted? You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck are people so cool with like, well, no, it worked in the 70s and 80s, so it should definitely work 40 years. No, shut the fuck up. Like, we have to move forward. We have to implement new ideas. we can't rest on your fucking laurels, especially because that fucking generation, you guys are still stringing a certain race of people up in fucking trees. Like, shut up. Like, seriously, just shut the fuck up. Like, I'm so tired of it. Like,
as much as I loved living in the 70s and 80s, I don't want to go back to that time. You know, I like being in the future.
The interwebs, yeah. Like, it's nice to have, for me at least, like, I grew up, I'm a 90s kid. I'm also too young to even go back to what Jacqueline was referring to, but I don't want to have to, when I'm writing a paper, if I'm reading something and I want to refer to it, have to open up a fucking encyclopedia.
I remember those days.
I want to go on Google and just search it and then cross-reference multiple sources. We also let's go back to that time, 60s, 70s, the 80s, right? 50s too. Let's include that there.
Yeah.
You had one source of information, and that was it. You didn't have multiple sources that we do now. So there's Arthur's source, there's Jacqueline's, there's Ryan's, and then there's everybody else's, and then there's the middle ground, right? So that's the beauty of where we live in. I honestly think we can create more jobs in this economy, in this time than we did back then, because we have the manpower to do it. It's just that we should not be requiring someone to go grab coffee to have a bachelor's degree.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, like, again, you know, I've said this time and time again, here in the West, we have to get over the manufacturing shit. We are no longer a manufacturing based economies. We can't be. We just literally can't be that. We have to shift to service economies. And to listen to somebody who's 50 plus say, well, you know, we need to get back in the coal mines or bring back the steel mills. No.
That's what ruined the environment.
All this hoopla over GM closing in Canada and the US, and it's just like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, I feel bad.
When we were paying them $40 an hour to build a fucking car.
Oh, it's not even the building of the car, you know. So I got a few friends that work at the General Motors plant. Now I'm going to be directly affected by this plant shutdown. Like, I am.
Absolutely.
I am 100%. Like, I can throw a fucking rock from my doorstep and hit that fucking plant. Yeah. But so when 11 years ago, when the Canadian taxpayers gave them that bailout and they cut their staff by like 97%, they went from 40,000 people to 2,800.
Yeah.
The math actually works out that fucking bailout paid for 2,800 people for 10 years. GM was fucking gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to listen to these people bitch and moan and cry, it's like, sorry, you put your eggs in the wrong basket.
Yeah.
The second that they fought for the guy that puts the sticker on the Impala to make $32 an hour, that was the fucking nail in the coffin. Yeah. What in the fuck do you think you deserve that kind of money for?
We lived across the street from the GM plant. We would see them come in at break and file into the bar.
Yep.
And then you're hearing stories about how they're doing like Sudoku and crossword puzzles while they're on the line.
Yep.
What the hell? I'm sorry. Why am I paying you $28, $30, $35 an hour to play Sudoku?
But that's what I was just referring to, because that was prevalent in Michigan, right? Like, this is what happened in Michigan, in the great state of Michigan here, where the plants we were paying people $40 an hour to build us a car that was just, and then but see, what people don't realize is that, okay, the cost of manufacturing goes up, the prices have to go up with it.
Exactly.
And then the interest rates from the banks, because we are a borrowing society.
Yep.
So the interest rates went up. Like right now, the interest rates went up almost 2%. So now that's going to go up even more. And then the people selling you the cars within the facility, not the facility, the dealership, their minimum wage in New York City just went up as well. So put that into perspective, guys, right? Did you not think that was going to affect you?
Yeah.
Did you not for 1 second literally think, holy shit, that's going to affect the consumer?
But that's the thing people are thinking about. They're going to have their pension packages, they've got their benefits package, and they're making, $100 grand a year to, like Arthur said, put a sticker on a car.
And that's legit.
And it's like, you're in 2018, you're in 2017, you're in 2015. In Mexico, these guys work for like, $10 an hour. In India, they work for, even $3 an hour.
And not only that, not only what they're making, but they also take more pride in their work. So you're getting a better fucking product as well.
Very true.
Yeah.
No offense, right?
And now they've got robots that do everything. Robots that can go 24 hours a day, and they don't cost $40 an hour.
I disagree with that a little bit, because then that really does take the work away from us.
Oh, it does, but that's what I'm saying. That's what automation is doing to manufacturing. That has nothing to do with Mexico or India. People want to blame Mexico for everything. And yes, Mexico did take a lot of manufacturing jobs in the 90s and the 2000s, but automation is going to take everybody's job in manufacturing.
Yep.
That's why am I ultimately selling somebody if a $40,000? It costs $40,000 because the guy who's building it is costing me $100,000.
Exactly.
That's why. Yeah. You know what I mean? That has to say a lot.
And if you're not mad, put your money where your mouth is. Like, 90% of GMs are sold in North America. Yeah. If you're mad at GM for, screwing over your economy consistently for decades, Flint, Michigan, Detroit, Toronto, all the places around North America where they've pulled out, not just them, you can say about Ford and all the other places too, but 90% of GMs are sold in North America. Don't buy a GM product if you're that angry.
That's the boycott, right? That's the power. That's the real power of the dollar. And that kind of brings us up to, well, at least that brings me up to another point when it comes to the effectivity. Like, all right, I'm sure this is over talked about. I'm just going to touch on it very briefly. We have this huge shutdown, right, going on in the United States. It's the longest in history so far. We all know those. We all know those details, right? Those people right now, they passed a law that's going to guarantee back pay. Great. But put into perspective, if that family of four who both work for the TSA, who both work for the TSA, were planning on buying a car, they could not because they didn't get paid.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't pay the insurance.
They lose their house before they get their back pay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's kind of why I'm, So
it's really sad.
Everything is affected. It's all affected within everything. I just don't understand how the greatest generation of all time can still say that about themselves. You are the causes of the problem.
I love how, too, they always say that the millennials are the entitled generation.
Yeah.
Entitled I think we know who started entitlement.
Like, entitled to your fucking table scraps? Entitled to inherit the fucking mess that you guys made?
Entitled to have the audacity to ask for change?
Right?
Like that's what it really comes down to.
And that
because
is what it is.
For something.
I say it all the time. Like, how are these people just A-okay with the status quo? They would not have been happy if they had to work in the fucking same conditions that their grandparents had to work in. You know what I mean? They wouldn't fucking like it at all.
You think they're gonna go work in like coal mines like that, or work in like some of these factories and before when they started child labor and shit?
Are you guys familiar with what a Teamster is? I think Arthur might be. You know what a Teamster is, right, Arthur? Yeah. So those motherfuckers in New York City, the ones that travel, Haddad's is the famous one. The movie sets and such.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers make about $150,000 a year.
Yeah.
To travel, or rather to transport a fucking truck from one point to the other, and then you know what they do for the rest of the day? Sit and sleep.
Yeah.
That's entitlement. That's a sense of entitlement. Okay?
I will give the union some credit. Now, I've been fairly staunchly anti-union for a long time, in most fucking areas, but I will give them the respect that because of them, we have the 5-day work week. We have, there's things that they implemented that protect the workers. That's fucking great. That's amazing.
Yeah,
but
that's what it's supposed to do.
You're right. But now the unions protect idiots and they protect dog fuckers.
Oh,
I know a guy.
Gary Glass, he's driving me crazy. I can't take it. Whenever he's on the screen, I just look away.
But I know a guy, me and him used to be really, really good friends, who got protected by his union. Now, this guy got into a fucking knife fight at work with another guy. Literally tried to stab each other, and he kept his job. Wasn't even suspended or nothing. But, I don't know. Like, it's...
I'm going to speak on something very personal here. Jacqueline knows about this from personal conversations, but I'll let this out. This goes even deeper than unions. This is a real root of a problem in the city of New York, FDNY and NYPDs, okay? There was someone who I know very well who was busted for being a part of a drug ring.
Okay.
He was an FDNY. So he had to resign.
Mm-hmm.
He was graciously forced to resign.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Catherine, rather, Jacqueline, you know who I'm referring to, right? Yeah. They were graciously asked to resign. Okay? His other brother was pardoned because in the Department of Sanitation, that's okay. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. But guess what he just got this year? What he's entitled to this year, by the way?
His pension.
His pension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Guess whose dollar that's on?
Yep.
That's on our dollar. This was a guy who had and he was a part of the recession. He had a short sell on a house that he had, who he allowed his friend to live there, who was growing copious amounts of fucking pot. I'm not saying anything bad about pot. Copious amounts of pot, which is still, let's just be frank. It's illegal. Yep. Still in the United States at that time, it was illegal. Still is, really. But he's entitled to his pension. Yeah. Still entitled to his pension. And dare I say, I've been told by that person's mother, but he's a great guy. Well, he just cost God knows how many people taxes.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. How is that possible? You know, like, that's the thing. You want to talk about unions. That's one thing, Arthur, because he agreed with you on that. But this is another thing. Like, this is the root of the problem with, like, the FDNYs and the sanitations. For the longest time, the Italians had the Department of Sanitation down pat.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Right? Those motherfuckers make $150,000 minimum a year, by the way. New cops, these cops that come in to play and, you know, blah, 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 blah. You think that they're making little money? Oh, don't worry. Their first year, they're slated to make about $100,000 a year with all the OT that they're doing. And guess what they're doing half the other time? Responding to accidents within 3 hours of it being reported through 911. Right? Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. This is the problem, is that we don't want to regulate. We don't want to say anything about what's really going on. Like, that's the real problem. Like, oh, but I'm entitled to afford. You know what I do on my 45-minute break? I sit on my desk. I still pick up the phone and I eat at the same time. That's what I do. When
I'm at work, I leave the store so they can't call me.
Well, I mean, that's me. That's my prerogative.
Sitting in my car, I leave.
But this is why the millennials are getting burnt out. Like, because we are so overworked, we have to overcompensate for the amount of laziness that the greatest generation of all time has put upon us. Like, I have friends who are Teamsters. I'm so tired. You were so tired taking naps in your truck?
Yeah.
That's tired?
It's not even like they're doing the unloading. They get there and somebody receives and unloads everything.
They don't do shit, but you're tired. And this guy is 275, 300 pounds. You know what I mean? And you're wondering why you're so fat? And you have every right to believe that you are the greatest of all fucking time. Your family's amazing. The reason why your fucking father was able to buy the house that you are living in, you little piece of shit, is because he's overpaid. His job does not require an education. Yeah. His job doesn't require anything. You know, just drive. Take the fucking thing there. You should be getting paid $2 a fucking hour. You're sleeping. What are you doing? No, but my position, my job, where I'm calculating numbers, I'm the calculator, I'm the computer. You know the old term computer, like when a person was the computer? Yeah. You're the computer. You're the customer service. You're the help. You're the this. You're the that. I'm underappreciated. I'm screamed at. You know what I mean? But those kinds of guys, you know, they work hard. They work hard doing what? Or we have unions for people who open doors. Doormen have unions, guys. 32BJ. That's a problem. Why do you have unions?
I kind of see why you would need a union for them, because somebody like that is like such a low man on the totem pole.
Exactly.
Could easily be.
I'm sorry, bitch. I could open my own door. Fire them. Bye. Sorry. You should have gotten an education, just like we have to get one to get a fucking job. Okay,
but that's it, though, right? We do have to. Unfortunately, we have to protect our unskilled laborers. Yeah. And there's always going to be unskilled laborers, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they do have to be protected because they didn't go to school and they can be taken advantage of. but it's the abuses. It's the abuses taken by these unions.
Somebody who opens a door should get $35 an hour.
Right? No,
I don't think you should have to work double time. I don't think you should have to do split shift. That's the sort of thing that should be protected.
Yeah. I don't want you to think I'm just being a dick just to be a dick. I'm sorry if I came off to be that way, but $35 an hour, free health care.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? This is why some people have turned into socialists, right? Because Jesus Christ, we're giving free healthcare to open a goddamn door. You know who could do that? I can.
The door. Everybody gets free healthcare.
So I imagine we're ending soon. I just want to kind of update something that me and Jacqueline talked about on the last show. So Australia was kicking their boots with that Saudi Arabian girl, and Canada took her in. She's now a refugee here in Canada, so that's a big fuck you to Saudi Arabia, and I'm really, really proud of my government right now. I'm very happy. I mean,
she's 17, right?
17, she's brave as fuck. You know what I mean?
Look for the article. New York Times had an article today, not specifically about her, but other women that have fled from Saudi Arabia. And just the sheer amount of bravery that would take, I give them all the credit in the world. That's somebody I want in my country.
Yeah, absolutely.
People have to be deported back from Thailand to Saudi Arabia. From
they were trying. If she hadn't gone viral, she would be in Saudi Arabia under a pile of rocks right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very, very happy with our government currently. Like at least today, I'm sure that'll change come tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow you'll be annoyed. That's okay. That's what we do.
But yeah, no, that was an update that I'm really fucking happy about. Like I'm very stoked to have her here.
I saw all these people, of course, commenting, "Oh, she gets to come in. Oh, it's just a political headline grab. And look at her wearing a Canada shirt. She got to fly first class. Good. Good for her.
Absolutely. You know what? All those people bellyaching should be very proud because of the middle finger that it gave to the Saudis. And as Canadians, we should not be fucking happy with those people, and we should be telling them to fuck off every chance we get.
Canada wearing a pair of shorts. A woman from Saudi Arabia who had to wear a full freaking
hijab or burqa.
Burqa. Yeah. That's what you have to wear in Saudi Arabia when you're out in public. And she's wearing shorts and a sweatshirt and some eyeliner. And good for you, sister. Welcome.
And by the way, she's 17 years old.
Yeah.
Just to point that back out. She's 17 years old. The fact that she felt the need to have, I hate my parents, but I didn't feel the need to run away that badly when I was that young. You know what I'm saying? So that's saying something.
Well, because we're in a society where we can be like, fuck you, mom and dad.
Yep.
Well, but are we forgetting that a decade ago, Malala was shot just for wanting to get an education?
Yeah.
My one hope, though, is for this girl. Now, I'm not even going to try to attempt her name because I'll butcher it. But my one hope is that she's not forced here in Canada to be a Malala. She's probably doesn't want to be an activist. She probably just wants to live a normal fucking life, go to school,
and make her own choices.
And be an atheist, not be under the fucking yoke of an oppressive fucking religious regime. I'm so glad you're here. I know a lot of other conservatives like me that are very happy that you're here because that is the Canada that I fucking stand for, and that's the Canada that I love.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. We're never, as much as we might criticize religions and stuff, Arthur and I are never anti-immigration. Nope. We love immigrants. We love refugees. When you come here the right way, and that's the thing, she put it out there and begged for somebody to help her.
Yeah.
She jumped the line for people that are paying for immigration. I get why some people would be mad, but she was in desperate need.
Exactly. This poor girl was a few days from being murdered.
That's when a humanitarian effort really does count. That's when we have to, you hear a lot of times, I know we're closing soon, but a lot of the times when we talk about the Cuban refugees that would come in the boats, I know the running joke was the banana boats, but when they would come in those boats, that kind of counted that they came here and we helped them, right? Because one of those people turned out to be a big pop star, and her name is Camila Cabello. Came from Cuba, right? Born in Cuba. This girl would have had what kind of a future over there opposed to over here?
Exactly. She probably would have been the sex tourism.
Yeah.
Probably. So what else are you going to do there, Yeah.
That's the thing. It counts when it has to count. And go ahead, Arthur.
Yeah. My kind of point, though, is that Canadians with our self-identity is that, and no offense to Ryan or other Americans that may be listening, is that we're not you. We're better than you. We care about people.
We're
seriously.
We're freedom fighters. Right? That's how we see ourselves. Like
that's literally the Canadian identity. So to hear people that would say Canada first out of one side of their mouth and then talk shit about Canada doing what's right for this fucking poor girl who, again, was probably going to end up fucking murdered.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
And like you said, Australia dragging their feet. Canada was like, we'll take you.
Yep. And we did.
Well, but
I'm so proud of us.
But then that just shows you we have to count where it counts. It's like in the United States, our news, the opposite of your guys' beautiful story, the triumph that you had with this girl, is that we killed 2 minors who crossed the border last month. Yeah. Right, who have been proven, by the way, to be healthy from their health records from their prospective countries.
Children.
By the way,
my worry about this young lady coming in here, is because she is so visual, and I didn't get a chance to talk about. We'll talk about it on Wednesday's show, but there's been a lot of suspicious stuff going on with people that committed crimes in Canada and America, Saudi people, students, and how the Saudi government has assisted them in getting away back to their country. And I'm worried that one of these people will hurt her or kill her, and then they'll be, snuck out of the country.
Put her into the program. Hide her. You
hopefully, she seems like she's a little more edgy than what you would think of your average Muslim teenage girl. So hopefully she'll look quite different, and she'll be in a big place where she can kind of blend in. Like don't take her let's put her in Toronto or Vancouver.
She's also coming. She's coming to Canada, or she's coming to a Western country as an orphan. She's not coming with any parents.
Well, but she's still pretty highly visual, and we saw what happened to Khashoggi. So
exactly.
No. I'm saying she's coming here all by herself. She's not coming with anybody.
I'm sure she won't just be put into an apartment by herself. She's probably going to live with some sort of sponsors that will help her get used to Canadian living and maybe act as a guardian to help her with school and stuff. So
because of the transparency of what happened, you can best believe that CSIS will be all over this fucking girl. Yeah. And unfortunately, something might happen. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not saying I want it, but you know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
Something might happen. And
it's a reality.
The repercussions that will be made. I mean, for me personally,
see her having an RCMP body card with her.
Same here. Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Canada. Good luck. We're rooting for you.
Fucking A.
And I hope we see more stories like that. Yes. Because that's the only way to shed a spotlight on Saudi Arabia's women's rights issues.
Yep.
So. That's it for today. We won't be here on Wednesday. We'll be here on Thursday if everybody's because I'm working Wednesday. Thanks for listening. Have a good couple of days, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.
Ryan didn't even say bye.